Welcome back once again to the high school sports page, brought to you by the Burns Insurance Group. We're going to take a look now at 2A and 1A polls that Terry and I have put together. In 2A, no changes. Boyd Buchanan remains number 1, Adamsville number 2, Marion 3, Hampton 4, and Forest number 5. Forest did have the week off. The other 4 won in a big way, Terry.
It's a no-change kind of night, Murphy. In the Mid-State, Waverly beat Scotts Hill 36-22. Forest had an open date, and Watertown rolled over East Robertson 44-21.
In 1A, I made the trip to Union City, and it was certainly worth it. Dresden kept it close for a while, but 5 turnovers was Dresden's undoing. Union City's win streak is now 36 in a row after a 35-18 win over the visiting Lions.
Wow. And no change in the Mid-State. Columbia Academy, Nashville Christian, Wayne County, Huntington, and Joe Burns all had one-sided wins. But Friday night, get ready. It's Wayne County and Huntington. Huge showdown for the 6-1A championship. Should be another dandy.
Down in Waynesboro, the county population will probably increase by 50%.
At least.
One ball game. Jonathan Quinn from Davidson Academy with us. Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Coach, your football team is off to a great start this year, 6-2, and you had starters returning in 9 positions on each side of the ball. And we would think you were probably excited before the season started about your possibilities.
I think like every coach in the Mid-State area, or probably all across the country that coaches football, they're excited before the season starts, and we were no different. You know, coming off of last year with 9 starters returning, coming into the second year of a program, we had hoped that they'd have a good summer and they'd buy in, they knew the process, we understood each other better, and we had high hopes for the season, but we really didn't know where we were headed into the season, and they had a good 2-a-days, start off the season with a loss, and then put together a good string of wins for us. And they've really come along, and we are senior led right now, which is a huge positive for us.
Jonathan, a lot of our viewers tonight know you very well. You played at McGavock, were signed by Tulane out of high school, but wound up at MTSU and had a great career there. Went in, played some professionally, coached at the NAIA level. Part of that is a head coach in Kansas, but now you're back in Nashville, where it all started.
That's right.
And that in itself, I think, is a pretty neat story. But what's the adjustment from coaching at the college level to the high school level, especially at a very small school, been like?
You know, it's been very interesting, honestly. Did 8 years in college, 5 as the head coach, had a very successful college career. Wanted to come back to high school, wanted to be back in Nashville, wanted to watch my kids, grow up and be in school with them. And coming back to high school, it has been a little bit of an adjustment, but here's the reality. We got guys that are hungry for football. They want to play. They want to be good. And that's any level, anywhere you go.
It's the same.
It's the same. We're going to put 11 guys out there. They're going to play football. And you go to college, they're putting 11 guys out there. They're going to play football. They might be more sophisticated, have more meeting time, better, all that stuff. But kids love the game. It's still a game. And some of the adjustments I've had to make were things like I don't have just offensive players or just defensive players or just kickers. We have guys that play both ways. And so in practice, you really have to be good with your time management. And you don't have as much individual time that you might have had in college, so you got to make sure the individual time you have, you're really focusing on those fundamentals, and you're getting exactly what you want out of practice. And then you're dividing your time, so you're doing half on offense, half on defense, throwing some special teams in there, and so you're not nearly as specialized as you are in college.
Are you teaching too? Got a teaching schedule as well?
I do. I teach 2 speed and strength conditioning classes.
Very good. Coach, before you arrived on the scene, Davidson Academy has not had a winning season in 5 years. And of course, last year, your first year, you were 5-7 in your first season. What do you attribute the quick turnaround to that's taken place since you came up on the scene?
I attribute to a lot of things, honestly. I think the administration is committed. I think the coaching staff is outstanding that we've put together, and it's the players. The players have bought into what we're trying to do. They have decided that they want to make it something important to them. They changed their mentality. The entire culture at Davidson Academy has changed. Football is now important. Our athletic program is important, and I think it's shown in the way we hit the off-season training, the way we do our summer training, the way we're hitting two-a-days, our practice schedules, the way we're preparing for teams every Friday night. Everything about what we do has changed, and at the end of the day, it's about the players. You know, it doesn't matter what your coaches are doing. The players have to go play the game. And the players that we have, starting with the senior group that you're talking with, even going back into last year, following the process and us winning the first round playoff game, they've really bought into the process and what we're trying to teach them as a coach. And they are, and they're selling out. And by them selling out is giving us an opportunity to compete each week.
Coach, one of the components you mentioned was your coaching staff. And I looked at my magazine 2 years ago, and all of the guys that are listed as assistant coaches were not on that page at that time. So you've got an entirely new staff right now. How important have they been to this transitional period?
I think it's been hugely important. When you look at every great head coach, they're going to have a good staff around them. You know, and I've been with a lot of good head coaches. I've seen some of the best coaches in the world, and you talk to them, they say, you know, I always try to find someone that's better than me or compliments me. What I learned in college when building my staff was I need certain parts to the staff, and we can't all be the same personality. We can't all have the same skill set, and we can't all have the same expertise. You need a little bit of everything. And so when I built my staff, I worked hard to do that. I brought in Matt Ashley from college with me. The last 3 years in college, he was right there with me. He got to coach with myself. We knew each other very well. We had a lot of outstanding assistant coaches in college that we could learn from, and he got to bring that down to high school with me. Brought in Brian Eaton from Beach. He was there at Davidson Academy when we won the 3 state titles. He was with Paul Wade. He came back and has been a huge asset to the O-line, D-line. I brought in Chris Vitito from a local coach that came in, and his energy and his attention to detail has been outstanding at the skill position with the DB and the receiver. Brought in Tommy Thornton from the White House area. Just every coach has a distinct job. We made the offensive coordinator from my last year, from the 2 years ago, the staff you're talking about, Max Swan, we've made him the head coach of the middle school because I wanted that connection from middle school to high school, and it not just be, oh, that's just part of what we do. No, from fifth and sixth grade, 7th and 8th grade, all the way up, I'm trying to build one big program.
They've all got to be on the same page.
They're all on the same page, and so I got outstanding coaches at all levels, all the way down, because we're trying to make it where it's it's a machine. Every year we're able to put together a quality team.
Jonathan, if you look at your stats, it appears that takeaways have played a major part, obviously, by your defense. You've recorded almost a dozen picks and almost that many fumble recoveries. It sounds like your defense has done a really good job, and it would appear you're proud of the way they've performed so far. You know what? Our defense has really stepped up this year. They've played exceptional. And the thing that starts all that is the effort. They've played with great effort. You know, Matt Ashley, like I said, has come in and really altered our defense to fit our personality. We started off last year with a 4-4 cover 3 type. It didn't really fit who we were, and we changed about week 8. Said, okay, that's not working. We got to do something different. We changed it, and we worked all summer on changing the scheme, and our players have bought into it. And Coach Ashley's done a great job getting different schemes to fit who we're playing. But the players, like I said, have bought in. And if you watch their effort, they are pursuing to the ball, getting multiple hits on the ball carrier. And it's neat because when we break stats down after a game, we go back and watch film to make sure we got the tackles right and actually get accurate stats because they're so hard to do live. It's hard sometimes to tell who the tackle is because there's so many hits. Okay, who had first hit? Okay, who's actually the second hit to get the half, and that type of thing. And that's fun to watch because if you're getting multiple hits on a ball carrier, odds are that at some point during the game, that ball's going to come out. And then, like any good DB says, a good D line is going to help you. We got guys that can get pressure on a quarterback. Well, that's going to make a DB better, make them throw it up quicker. We're disguising coverages. And we got Jackson Broadwell at safety, and he just has a knack for the ball. He just has a way to always be around the ball, and I think he has 5 or 6 picks himself. As part of that dozen, and so the players have really stepped up and done well.
Coach, we got about a minute left. A huge game last week against FRA. Really played those guys close, but a big one this week too against DCA. You really a win there, even though it's not a regional game, would give you a lot of momentum as you approach the playoffs.
It does, and every win gives you momentum. whether it doesn't matter who you're playing, but Coach Goodwin at DCA is doing an outstanding job. He's had a fine program for years and years, and it's no different this year. They are another powerhouse team. If we're able to get a win, it would definitely lead into momentum for the playoffs. Right now, that's all we focus on is this week. It is the biggest game of the year. I tell the team all the time, biggest game of the year. Why? Because it's the next one. It's the only one we're focusing on. And all our attention, all our focus is on it. And if we can beat, anytime you have a chance to compete and potentially beat a quality team, it definitely leads to good things in the future.
Jonathan, we're so glad you were able to join us tonight. Good luck against DCA this week, and good luck in November. It's going to be a good year to be a Bear, I do believe.
Well, I sure hope so. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
We're going to take a look at some of the highlights from your game against
awesome.
FRA right now as we go into break. This is the High School Sports Page brought to you by the Burns Insurance Group. We'll be right back.
That's the fun.